the heartiest condolences to Sidharth Shukla's family. Of course, as you all know already now, Sidharth Shukla, who was almost a household name after he won the Bigg Boss 13 edition, has now passed away after a heart attack. He was barely 40 years of age, and this is devastating news. It's literally come as a massive shocker to the film industry and people across India who've been following him extensively on Bigg Boss 13, and post that he literally gained the kind of fame that any other Bollywood actor would in India. Considering he was a television artist and had that kind of fan base itself, should say the popularity that he really garnered over the years. Sidharth Shukla was 40. He's left behind by his two sisters, his doting mother. In fact, many instances where he's been on reality shows, and Sidharth Shukla has been on reality shows extensively since 2014. He tried a brief stint with television, with films. It didn't really work out. Karan Johar's film Humpty Sharma Ki Dulhania with Alia Bhatt and Varun Dhawan, he played a cameo there, but his film career didn't quite take off. But his television career was possibly stupendous, one of the best that he could boast of. He was not married. He's left behind, like I said, by his mother and two sisters. So remembering his love for his mother. In fact, Sidharth Shukla, many instances, spoke about the kind of affection and the attachment and bond that he shared with his mother particularly. Almost like he did everything for his mother, which is why it's really heartbreaking to even think what his mother might be going through. Here we at India Today giving out really heartiest condolences to the family of Sidharth Shukla. He was not married, but he had an extensively long live-in relationship with Rashmi, who was also a Bigg Boss contestant. But latest he was rumored to be dating. Again, there was no confirmation on that because they never publicly made a statement, but he was dating his co-contestant from Bigg Boss, Shehnaz Gill. That's what we hear, that she was his rumored girlfriend. They appeared together in a reality series very recently, and they were quite tight. Even on Bigg Boss, Shehnaz Gill and Sidharth Shukla were very close. She would really, literally had given her heart away to him, and it was quite evident. The chemistry, actually, what they shared. Him, the aggressive guy, she, the quite a crazy girl who was often running after him and was totally crazy about him, at least from what we saw. That sort of created a huge fan base itself. People loving the idea of Sidharth Shukla and Shehnaz Gill being together. So were they really together or not? Of course, we are not sure about that, but one can only imagine what his close friends and family must be going through right now, because he was young. He had years ahead of him, of course. 40 years is really no age to go away. We're really upset because it's unbelievable to even think that a man who's so fitness conscious, we believe that he would work out every day, he was getting closer to his perfect body, he was constantly on a regular weight watch, possibly a diet, not too sure. Again, this is what speculation, right? People speaking right after his news of the death that's come in. You have comments coming in, flooding in from all over, especially people from the film industry, the television industry, who say that they've often seen Sidharth very focused when it comes to his looks, his body, the exercise and the regime that he follows. He's quite a thorough fitness freak. So for us to really believe that, he's been taken away too soon, I mean, this is a fact. It was very hard for us to believe. We took a little time to even break that story on the news because it was shocking. 40 years, he was born in 1980, gone too soon. And a man, like I said, who's so enthusiastic when it comes to fitness. He was getting closer to his desired body, his perfect body, his idea of perfect body, and at a time like this to die of a heart attack, a massive heart attack, we believe. Again, post-mortem is going on currently. The Cooper Hospital authorities have declared that he was brought dead. Now again, as per sources, we understand that he may have had a tablet. Now what is that tablet? Is this a tablet that he has on a regular basis every night before he goes to sleep? Is it a sleeping tablet? We're not too sure, but we understand that he had a tablet in the night and he went to sleep. He woke up dead. That's what the Cooper Hospital says, that by the time he was brought to the hospital, he was dead. So we're assuming, of course, we've yet to get a reaction from the family itself. No information has come from the family, a statement as such, but this is the first information that we have, that he died of a massive heart attack early this morning. He did not wake up. So as per initial reports of the hospital, he was brought to the hospital, and at the hospital they found that he had a massive heart attack, that he may have had a tablet in the night. Again, it's very we're very interested to know what kind of tablet this is. A postmortem is currently underway at the Cooper Hospital. They're following up on those formalities just to see if this is what really resulted in this heart attack. Could it have been avoided? That's the feeling that's left over, right? Could he have been saved? Is there a way that he could have been alive? If he had not had that tablet, maybe he would have woken up today. Those are the kind of questions that are now being asked and raised. Of course, the hospital authorities are doing their post-mortem. Results on that possibly will come out in a day or two. But for now, the film industry is shattered. It's impossible to believe a man who is so zesty and enthusiastic in life had to go too soon. His career itself spanned across 2 decades, more or less. He in fact participated. He started off as a model. He participated in the Glad Rags. He won it. The event was held in Turkey, and he was one of the first few Indian men who won like the men's fashion pageant. So he got to fame then eventually started off with a series of television dramas. Let me take you through a few of those television dramas that before Balika Vadhu that he actually enacted, which started off his career, and that included Babul Ka Angan Chhoote Na. He later appeared in several other shows, including Jaane Pehchane Se, Ye Ajnabi, Love You Zindagi. He also participated in reality shows, like I said, because that was extensively what he eventually came to fame with. He participated in Jhalak Dikhla Ja, 6, fabulous dancer. If you've seen him, he's quite a great dancer, and that was visible in Jhalak Dikhla Ja. Fear Factor, he won. Khatron Ke Khiladi 7, that was the the series, the 7th round, where he apparently won that series, and there too he somehow managed to shine bright. Like, he's quite a competitive person. If you've seen him in Bigg Boss, which more or less I watched, more or less people would realize that Sidharth Shukla is no pushover. He is quite a determined, aggressive go-getter who will not settle for anything ordinary. For him it was win or nothing, my way or highway. It was almost like that. So the guy really managed to attract eyeballs because of the kind of attitude and personality that he had. Of course, in Balika Vadhu and other television dramas, you see even a much more sweetheart image where you really love his aura and the presence. It's an act. But in the reality TV shows, you really see the real Sidharth Shukla, or for that matter, anybody on reality show, you see the true person and the true personality, the character of that person. And Sidharth Shukla really shone bright, even though initially he'd come across as too pushy, too aggressive, too sometimes it could be abusive also. But it somehow managed to light up screens, and that's almost a trait or character that he had, that he could keep audience glued to the televisions, watching him, and not watching him as possibly a drama series character, but actually watching him for who he is, Sidharth Shukla, for who he is. And that's difficult to do. If you can actually get audience glued to the person you are for real, kudos to the person like that. Good or bad, that's for whoever to decide, right? But at the end of it, he managed to floor audiences. He had a huge fan following, particularly women. He's quite a good-looking guy, very good-looking. He aimed at a television and film career as well. He tried to push himself, but like I said, it was short-lived. Film career didn't quite take off. But his reality show career, somehow he managed to get into every reality show, managed to make a name for himself, win a couple of them. So, which is why it's a little heartbreaking to know that a guy that talented is gone too soon. So, like I did mention, Sidharth Shukla's career spanned for almost possibly 2 decades, a decade and a half, maybe 15 years, and he's lived it all. He's been a model, he's been an actor, he's been a reality TV star, a host. Very recently, he was also on the Bigg Boss OTT episode as well. He was just everywhere. I mean, it's just so hard to believe, and we're hearing a lot of reactions pouring in, and how many of his co-stars and people who worked with him and who know him say that the guy was very aggressive and all of that, but he was such a nice guy. He was a great guy at heart. He would never let injustice happen. He would never settle down with anything bad taking place right in front of his eyes. He would stand up for the right. He may be a little loud and maybe overpowering and pushy, but he stood for what was right. And maybe that's what's important today, right? In a world which is so bipolar, you have people and spineless many of the times. You need people like him to be really vocal about things that he thinks was not right, of things that does not bring justice, or well, of course I'm really coming up with a whole image of Sidharth Shukla myself, but this is exactly based on what people have said to us on our television India Today. We've been tracking the story continuously, and you have a lot of television stars who've been talking to us saying that he always stood up for the right. He stood up for those people who would did not really speak up for themselves, so he would fight for them. So a person like that to go is really a soul lost. So one can only imagine. I'm only hoping that we give a lot of prayers to the family of Sidharth Shukla. I did mention how the mother of Sidharth Shukla is someone who is really, really attached with him. She was absolutely, she was so attached to the point that it appears that Sidharth Shukla itself has been doing whatever that he did in his life for his mother. That's why it's heartbreaking. And I would like to say here today that I would like to remember him with happy memories, and that's why I may be possibly saying this on a note that will maybe bring a smile on your face. If this is the time that you're really remembering Sidharth Shukla, then remember him by the times he entertained you on your television screens, because that's the kind of that's what he wanted to do all along. He wanted to entertain audience. He wanted to enthrall the television audiences, and that's why he would enter every reality show. He would get to almost all his dramas were quite a hit. So for him, I think and it's obvious, right? For any artist, the audience is and the audience getting entertained by them is possibly the only thing that they could ask for. So if you are remembering him, then it's, I think, about time that you watch all his episodes, watch his series, watch his reality shows, and maybe that's the only way that you could probably give him a great ode after his death. And I'd really like to remember him for the fabulous entertainer that he was, and just all the love going towards his family, and condolences, a lot of prayers, and that's it. That's all I can say, because we're so shocked. It was tough for me to even sit down, but I realize this life is uncertain for everyone, and it's about time that we respect what has happened, digest it, and remember the man for who he was, a thorough entertainer. Thank you for watching.